weekend all. Ira Epstein of Linn & Associates with your weekend metal market wrap-up, and I'm doing this on Saturday, and this is the 14th of November, 2020. And as I'm now back into what I call my winter months, I've developed a schedule. Be ready for me to talk to you about a live webinar coming up. That'll be up this week. So I'm going to start sending out the invites if you're in my mailing list this week. If you're not on my mailing list, you have to go to our website, and if I were you, I would take one of our free offerings so that you get on it, and that's how I send the invite out. It requires a password and user ID to it so that you get an invite. Here's what I think this week was about. The market at the end of the week had to make a decision. Was it looking at the glass half full or half empty? In other words, we're going to get a surge in COVID cases over the United States and Europe. They're coming. It gets worse and worse. Is that the headline news that works on the financial and the metal markets? Or is the news that Moderna, Pfizer, BioNTech, they have their vaccines ready to go? The vaccine, I did some studying about it this week. To buy a freezer for the vaccine for a hospital for distribution between $5,000 and $19,000. That's not as much as I thought. That's, in America, a drop in the bucket for these hospitals. So can this be dispersed readily? The answer is yes, if that's the cost factor to store it. Now, that same freezer, the Moderna's requires 20 degrees below zero. The Pfizer is 70 below zero, okay? One's a 3-week shot, one's a 4-week difference of the shot. What's the difference? So they're coming. Back to my glass half full, half empty. So is the COVID news right now going to weigh down the market? Yes, as it hits, but no, overall. The market's already focused on something else. The market's focusing, the vaccine is here, just needs to be distributed. The decision of America on an election is here, done. Biden will be the next president of the United States. The only thing remaining is the race, and it's going to be a monster race in Georgia for who controls the Senate. And the parties are going to throw millions upon millions at this race. There's just so much at stake. At the end of the day, if the Democrats win those two races, you have a split Senate that in theory, Ms. Harris, our VP at that time, will be able to break the votes on. But that's assume everybody votes always along party lines. No matter what happens, there's going to be headwinds. So there's a certain element of control in that Senate that stops all the binge buying that Democrats might want to do. I didn't say they're doing it, I said might want to do. We're also looking at cabinet appointments, and the people being chosen right now or under review are not as radical as was first thought. Elizabeth Warren, stay in the Senate. All right, so here you are with all this craziness that's going on. So what does it mean for these metals that were all up nicely? Well, I think that that's the key. The market is looking beyond where we're at right now. When you go to a monthly gold chart, on the monthly, you have higher lows, higher highs. The market has got momentum pointing down. On the monthly chart, trying to use a slow stochastic for anything other than the momentum is pointing up, down, or sideways, don't do it. Even the weekly's hard, but at least I think I found a way to do that. Here's what I don't want to see. If this market takes out this week's low of 1848, that will weaken this chart a lot. It doesn't take away the upside bias. The market, as long as it's over 1660, has it. But trading off a monthly chart, it's nice to look at. It's near impossible. So let's go and start looking at weeklies. That gets easier. On the weekly chart, the bias is down. The market closed under the 18-week average of closes. This is a close-only chart of 1870. Okay. When we come to a weekly bar chart, and this is what you're looking at, the one thing I see is we have an outside week down. You can see that the pattern is one of a lower low and a higher high. There is no trend on the weekly chart. The trigger that something has changed bullish would be in the next 2 weeks, this week or the week after, taking out this week's high of 1966.10. That would open up Pandora's box for me. Barring that, the question now is, where does the market look for support? It's already under the 18-week average of closes. So that means, to me at least, that rallies in the market should encounter some resistance at that 18-week average. But where's the support, since the 100-week average and the 200 are so far away? What's going to be the Bollinger Band? And the Bollinger Band bottoms 1829.90. So from this week's low, approximately $20 lower is the first support. The trigger for me is to get over this week's high to get back to the upper Bollinger Band and say this part of the market is under it and say goodbye to it. So summation, no trend right here yet. The slow stochastic momentum still pointing down. So as nice as gold was up on Friday, on a weekly basis, this market hasn't proven anything just yet. When I look at the gold-silver ratio, I still have that. Right through here is that 18-week moving average where the silver's under it. That tells me silver's stronger than gold. Why? If the numbers go up in a perfect store in the world, you take your 85 ounces of silver, you put them into your shopping cart, you wheel it in, and they give you an ounce of gold. Well, the lower the number goes, it means my silver is worth more because I'm able to buy with less silver that same ounce of gold. That's the theory. In the silver market, the pattern's very different than the gold. You have a pattern with higher lows and higher highs. That part is bullish. The momentum of the market is now flattening itself out. Flattening is not bullish, but it's trying to come out of that bit of a bearish camp it had. It needs a close over 25.02 on a weekly basis to have the bullish bias to the market. Clearing this week's high of 2613.5 does open the door for wherever the Bollinger Band comes in. And while it's 2891.80 right now, it's falling at the rate of about, as you can see, let's call that 40 cents a week. So it's probably going to be around 28.5 sometime this week or so. So I'll be watching what the market does there. When we come to the copper market, the trend remains on the weekly charts up. Higher lows, higher highs. But you are at a key resistance area of this 322 area, the upper Bollinger Band. Momentum is pointing to the upside, not embedded, a little bit overdone. In the platinum market, we have the swing line, higher lows, higher highs, similar to silver, refusing to settle over that 18-week average to give us the all-clear signal that the market wants to move to the next level. I'll wait for that to happen, but any close over 905.80 does the job. On the dollar index, I look at a market that's fighting a battle right here. And I think the bears will win this battle. Why? Because I think the market's already building in the idea that the Biden campaign will spend more money and blah, blah, blah. And other countries, foreign countries, they're in a better shot to see their currencies pick up with that than the U.S. throwing all this money at it. That's what I think the market's going to look at. We'll see if I'm right. Obviously, I'm wrong if you get over 94.33. If you hit 91.70, my first objective is made to the downside. Momentum is flattened out here. The daily chart turned bearish, not the weekly chart. I want to remind you what I do for you in these metal markets during the week. If you're a subscriber of mine, you know at 5:40 in the morning, Monday through Friday, I am going in, and what I do is I'm looking first. I read what's going on in Asia, Europe, and what's coming up in the U.S. I give you the morning fundamentals, and then I start you off with ideas for trading based on a short term, a swing trade, and longer term positions. Now, what do I mean by longer term? On Saturdays, I put out a video of just for the 40 charts that I cover in this market, and I'll show you what we're talking about, what I see on a weekly basis. That allows the longer term trader to look at the market, and a lot of traders that I have don't want to look at the market on a daily basis. I think they're wrong, I think you have to, but I understand the need for the product, and I put it out just as though that's the product that they're looking for. So it'll be based on just that part of the marketplace that it's going with. As that goes with it, what we do is I make it available. You can watch it in one of three ways. You can watch it in all these ways. On a tablet, a PC, our We have an app that works on both Android and smartphones as well. These are the markets that I cover. So I'll cover 4 of the stock indices, all the major currencies, 3 of the different interest rate products. You get the game plan. How do you get to this? Let's assume my video is about 20 minutes long, which it is, sometimes longer. There's a scroll bar on the website. You just grab it, and as you pull it, it'll light up, say, big words, currencies, metal markets, wherever you want to be, let it go, it plays. It makes it easy for you. I don't want to do separate videos for each of these. It's much easier for me to do that. And time is an element, it's my enemy, not my friend. So you put this all together, and what's the idea of these videos? To give you an idea that you might have. Let's assume that you want to trade in the platinum market. Let's assume you want to be in the gold market and you want to buy or sell. Well, maybe you want to see what I'm thinking of the market, and it reinforces or stops you, or whatever way you want to go with it. The cost of this, a price, it's the cost of coffee. Go to Starbucks, buy one of their large drinks, give a tip. You're going to be in this neighborhood. You're getting 30 days, 26 days of videos. Then you get invited to my webinars. I'm going to have one this coming week. You're going to be getting free access to my special reports. I hope you all looked at the silver report. It's looking pretty good from what I did. And if you understand what I do, these aren't 2-minute reports. I really give you in-depth knowledge. You'll pay for somebody else $50 a report, $2.50 a time, but free with my subscriptions. And I'm going to be doing more reports, and I just don't do them in metals. I'm going to be covering them on everything. I'm back in the winter. I'm back in my work mode. So how do you do all this? You can call my staff. They'll get you set up, or you can just go to the website under the word research. We have an ETF one. We have our products for this. You can decide if you want my full research, which is the written updates with it. And by the way that I write, I don't write so I'm taking up all your time. I write in headline form, give you a bit of what I'm seeing, what I think is going to move the market twice a day. So instead of you having to read booklets, I used to get one newsletter that's 8 pages. I don't know how the person wrote every night 8 pages until I realized to copy and paste over and over what they had just said. What do we need to have that for? I think you'll like the way that I write it. It's written for a businessman that doesn't have a lot of time, wants the headline, then looks at the chart to go with it. I'm Ira. Thanks for watching. I will see you all Monday.